I'm going to show you how you can customize your user preferences in Clicker 6. When you first get Clicker, there are certain settings that are automatically set up for you. Things like the font, and whether or not it should read back to you, and at what points.
Hi, my name is Tammy.
We all remember this. Now, all of these options, including whether or not Clicker should bring in pictures and many more options, are customizable. To do this, you need to go to Options, User Preferences. And here you'll find a whole lot of tabs where you can change things to suit your preferences. Under the documents, you can choose whether it should automatically capitalize the first letters of sentences and names, bearing in mind that Clicker 6 is from the UK and it may not recognize some of our South African names, so you'll end up having to capitalize them yourself anyway. Under the speech tab, you can change the voice. Here I can change it to Graham. I can make it speak a bit faster, and if I want to just test the speed, I can click on try and have him read out that whole name.
Hi, my name is Graham, 22K_HQ.
So you can test out the voices before you decide who you want to go with. Please feel free to browse through the other voices that you have available, but at Edit Microsystems, we like Rachel and Graham. Then you have options for how or whether or not it should highlight the text as you go. Highlighting the text will just highlight the letters themselves. Block highlighting, I'll show you now, will bring in a color behind the text. So let's do a green color behind the text. Then whether or not it should speak the letters and the words as you type, that's a higher level of support for your learners. And then here are some other options that you can have a look through. In media, you can choose which media libraries it should bring in pictures from. If you haven't created your own media libraries yet, you'll just have the Crick Picture Library 3. You might have some symbols libraries if you bought additional symbols libraries. Please go to the video on how to create your own library if you want to learn how to do that. Then whether or not it should show pictures in the documents and in the spell checker, those are quite useful. If your learners are a little bit older or don't need picture support, you can leave those unchecked. And then your picture size, and allow your computer to browse all computer and libraries. So that would be if you're trying to insert a picture, should the learners or whoever's busy inserting a picture be able to browse through your whole computer. You probably want to leave that as is. Under Clicker Sets, you have the option to disable them to access edit mode. That means that the learners will not be able to access that tiny little edit mode button on the bottom left-hand screen, but most likely they won't come across that anyway, so we usually leave that as is. Under the predictor, you can choose the level of the predictor, how big the word predictor database is, and all of those sorts of options. You see when I change it down to level 2, smaller database, and it will not predict words from the clicker set at that point. We can also go all the way up to level 4. And you have some more options down here for the predictor. Should it use sounds like or phonetic prediction? And then should you be allowed to use the number keys? And should you be able to use Alt and a number key? And then you just have some options for the look and feel. What icons should appear? What should appear in the drop down from those icons? And you can customize this for yourself as well. Now that I've changed some of my options, and I didn't change too much, let's see what happens. If I just read out the speech that I had already, we'll see the speech speed, who's speaking, and the highlighting will be different.
Hi, my name is Tammy.
Okay, cool. So if I'm happy with that, and I want this bundle of user preferences to be available in the future, and even if I change something, I want to be able to go back to this as a standard. What you want to do is export your user preferences. You go, once you've set everything up, you go to Options, Import and Export. Export user options will save your current set of user options. Let's just call this set, when we will put it under shared files, users. At the moment I only have one set, but let's just do this test user, I'm going to call it, and then say save. Now to import those user options or start using those. Right now, obviously, they are still all there and I haven't made any changes, but assuming I had changed something and I want to go back to that standard, I could go Options, Import and Export, Import User Options, and double click on that test user and everything would go back to the standard. The other way you can do it is when you start Clicker or when you open this Explorer, let's just give it a few moments to open up, and you're in the Quick Start page. Once you've created at least one set of user preferences, you'll now have this little guy and some drop-down options for which set of user preferences to use. I can select test user here, and then whatever Clicker set I open will use those preferences to run it. I hope this has been helpful. Please have a look at the other training videos for some more useful tips and tricks.